Indian people are extremely, extremely racist, especially towards Black people. And if you take a Black person who has been around Indian people for any period of time, Black people pick up on this.
I find it really hypocritical how Indians and South Asians will talk about prejudice they experience by white people and then turn around and take that same discriminatory energy and use it against Black people.
Hello, good people. Welcome to African Commentary. Here we learn and grow every day. If you're new here, kindly consider subscribing, liking, and sharing the videos. I'll really appreciate. Today's video, I want us to talk about something which is not talked about enough. Like, not so many people talk about it. When we speak about racism, we just speak about racism from white people towards Black people, but we don't talk about racism from Indians towards Black people. Racism from Indians is something that has been happening for a long time. I don't know why they really hate Black people. I don't know why they look down upon Black people. So without saying much, let's watch some videos, especially one video which I have enjoyed watching is from an Indian woman herself, talking about her community's racism towards Black people. It needs to end. It needs to come to a stop. So let's watch the videos. Then I'm going to give my 2 cents at the end.
Hi friends, I hadn't planned on making another video right now, but Indian people are coming for me in my comments. And, so I know I'm on the right track with what I'm saying. But what I want to talk about in this specific video is Indian people and anti-Black racism specifically. So whether this is within the country of India, or whether this is when Indian people immigrate to any part of the world, whether it be on the African continent, in North America, South America, wherever, Indian people have, and again, I'm not saying every single Indian person, but I'm talking about Indian people generally, our society, our culture, the belief systems that Indian people hold, etc. Indian people are extremely, extremely racist, especially towards Black people. And if you take a Black person who has been around Indian people for any period of time, Black people pick up on this. It's something that is, this is not a secret. Whether you're talking to, say African students who study in India, which there are African students who are there, or whether you're talking about, say, Kenyans. There's a large population of Kenya that are Indian people that have immigrated to that country, or South Africa, or Canada, or, the United States, whatever. But Black people pick up on Indian people's racism because it is quite apparent. It's something that that is there. It's obvious. So I'm just going to give you an example of me, my family, and the Indian people in South Africa. When I grew up there, I spent the first 12 years of my life under apartheid. So we had servants, maids, cooks, gardeners, etc. And all of these people were Africans. They were Black people. And all of the Indians in South Africa had servants. Okay, they were all Black. Now, how were these servants treated? They were treated as subhuman. They were not considered to be human beings with feelings. They drank out of different cups. So Indian people would not share their table with the servants, who were an integral part of their household. They took care of their children. They drove them everywhere. They cooked for them. But they had to eat off of separate dishes. They could not sit on the furniture. They, if, say, for example, when we left our home and we traveled, so we lived in Pietermaritzburg, we traveled to Durban on the weekends, holidays, whatever. Our maid would come with us. She was not allowed to sleep on or sit on our furniture or sleep on our furniture, so she had to sleep on the floor. These are things that all Indian people did in South Africa. And now I'm just talking about South Africa. I'm not talking about, say, when Indian people immigrate to other countries. But this is true even in first generation Indians. Because say if an Indian person had to marry a Black person, 9 times out of 10, that Indian person's family is going to completely disown the Indian person who married a Black person. Now, Indian people generally, they want Indian people to marry within their they want Indian people to marry other Indian people, and then they even go into like, well, they want the same caste, and they even have subcastes and all of this stuff. So, but if an Indian person marries a white person or say an Asian person, it's not considered to be as heinous of an act as if an Indian person married a Black person. So this can be tied to the caste system because, like I mentioned in my previous video, Indian people are racist towards other Indian people. And some of this is based on skin color. It's not entirely based on skin color, but there is a factor that is, that is apparent in that. So Ava DuVernay made a movie called Origin, and it's based on Isabel Wilkerson's book Caste, which somebody just pointed out. And it's very difficult for me to talk about these very heavy topics in 10 minutes. So I can't cover everything, but Indian people are inherently racist as a culture and as a society. And then within that racism, there is a hierarchy. So yes, while an Indian society might be racist towards Western people, Western culture, white people, etc. Just like Vivek Ramaswamy making that comment about how, he made all these disparaging comments about, Americans. And he was talking about white Americans, how they're not as smart and blah, blah, blah. These are not uncommon things that Indian people say within themselves. I have been privy to these conversations in whether it's, say a friend situation or families or extended families or just in my Indian community. These are very common beliefs that most all Indian people will espouse. They will say things like, well, white people have no culture. Their food is horrible. They just go on and on and on. But when it comes to Black people specifically, Indian people have extremely racist views about Black people. And it doesn't matter how nice this Black person is, how educated they might be. None of those things matter. And that's why I say that a lot of Indian people, they align themselves with a very far right-wing kind of Trump ideology. So you might take somebody from, say, America who is a Trumpster, and they espouse all these very racist views. And you could take an Indian person, and in many respects, those views are going to align because Indian people generally tend to hold very racist views. It goes back to the caste system, yes, but it also ties into other aspects because, as I pointed out before, there are the so-called untouchables in India, and Indian people are racist towards them as well. So this is all a very, these are complicated things, and I'm just trying to do my best to share these ideas because we are in terrible times right now in the United States and in the world generally. So I guess Indian people, if you guys want to come for me, come for me. I am not saying anything that's untrue. This is the truth, and I think it's kind of an open secret.
One day when the country is no longer facing an economic crisis, or one day when the country is free of corruption, when we are ready to talk, when you are ready to sit down and talk about real-time issues that we are facing, we'll be able to sit down and talk about the amount of racism that most Indian people have towards Black people. This might not be a popular opinion, but I know Whoever's watching this video knows what I'm talking about. This thing has been going on for the longest time and people are not addressing it. Instead, we sweep it under the carpet. But it's been going on for the longest time. And I'm not talking about just the recent incidents that happened in Phoenix, the Phoenix massacre or anything. I'm talking about a lot of things. It's been happening for the longest time. How many times have you met one of your brother or sister or auntie or even your neighbor who works for Indians or who works in Makishini or my Indians? How many times have you heard them talk about how evil they are? How badly they treat black people? How much they see us as slaves or animals instead of human beings? This thing hasn't been addressed in South Africa for the longest time. People don't want to talk about it. I don't know, maybe it's because of the affiliation that the government has, or the former government, as they said, has with certain Indian businessmen and business people. But we need to start addressing the situation. I'm talking about a lot of things. Even in religion, ask our fellow black brothers who decided to take Islam as their religion. Ask them how the treatment is from their fellow brothers in Islam who are Indians. Ask them about the treatment. Ask them about how much most Indian people would rather pay you through food, last week's food, instead of giving you like money, like as in real money. Ask anybody who works for Indian people how much racist they are. One day we'll be able to sit down and discuss that issue, that dilemma. We'll be able to talk about that disease, the hatred that most Indian brothers and sisters have for fellow black people. Like, I really don't understand this. I don't know. History people will correct me if I'm wrong. But as far as history books are concerned, black people, Indian people, colored people, we were all the same in the eyes of the oppressor, our former apartheid government. We were all the same. So I don't understand why most Indian people will be racist towards black people, because we are the same, guys. They've got the K word, we've got the K word. You know? So I don't understand why they need to be racist towards black people. It's appalling. It's distasteful. It's crazy. Anyways, happy Monday.
But I've seen a lot of stitches on this video and Indian people saying, well, it's not all Indian people. Yeah, we know that. Black people know that. But it's a lot of us. So they are valid to say Indian people are racist. And can you honestly tell me, how would your family react if they know you're dating a black person? I also saw someone say, well, black people are racist to us too. Two wrongs don't make a right. But I'm also having a hard time believing that you know that many black people. And you're probably just making this assumption from like two black people that were nice to you. So like, well, they're racist to us too. We as Indian people need to acknowledge how we are wrong and apologize and change. We literally have come through apartheid together and somehow we're still divided. It doesn't make sense.
I find it really hypocritical how Indians and South Asians will talk about prejudice they experience by white people and then turn around and take that same discriminatory energy and use it against black people. I know it happens. I grew up hearing it. So let's talk about how you are so eager to fit in that you would rather appease those who oppress you than support other oppressed groups. You know what that smells like? Desperation for acceptance. And the sad part is, no matter what you do, no matter how hard you work to blend in, you will still be seen as an other.
Okay, so before I started my series, I wanted to tackle this question right here. A lot of Indians don't like black people because if you have a baby with a black guy, they think how dark it will come out. And in my case, this is true. So my family always called me dark growing up. Mind you, I'm not that dark. But my mother is darker than me. My father is lighter than me. So, of course, then you get me. But apparently, I'm still dark. So, when I was pregnant with my son, all my mom would say is how dark my child was going to be. Now, when he was born, when you look at the top of a newborn's earlobe, you'll see what color they're going to be, basically. Their pigmented earlobe basically tells you how dark or how light the child is. So, what she said was, he's going to be so dark, look at his ear. I was like, huh? I didn't get it until later that she thought that because of his ear, he's going to be dark. And, well, anyway, colorism is a big issue in India. And that could be why they don't really like the intermingling with black people. Now, that being said, my mom did remarry after my parents divorced, and she did marry a white guy. And my sister is half white, so she's super, super bright. So, yeah.
Most of the racism that I've actually experienced since coming to Canada has been from Indians.
Actually,
Unfortunately, that's the reality. I'm so sorry. I know that they are one of the people that the general public, most of the general public in Canada are on right now. But to be very real and unfiltered, Indians and racism towards black people is insane. There was a day that I had ordered for food, and then the name on the order was an English name, and then the DoorDash got here, met me, and they said, "Oh, is your name this name?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Oh, you don't look like it." And then I swear to God, he called head office to confirm that if there's,
What did you do? Tell me. What did
I
you
reported.
Do? Of course.
I called and reported.
What do you mean?
They refunded my money.
What do you mean you don't?
And they were like, they are going to deal with it.
Okay, y'all, so did y'all see that video of a black woman and an Indian woman getting into it? They was arguing back and forth in the Walmart parking lot. And the Indian woman was, I think it was a Walmart parking lot. I don't know. Don't quote me. But they was going back and forth. But the Indian woman was calling the black woman with the hard R. And she just kept calling her that over and over and over again. And, so now the Indians is racist. And they don't like black people. So that's what we're talking about here. So now they got a problem with black people. And you know what? I think? I think that other ethnicities, because I'm not going to say other races because we're all humans, supposed to be. But I think other ethnicities that call black people the hard R think that they are YT. They classify themselves probably as YT. They feel like the YT people, they feel like they're one of them. And so, because that's the only thing that makes sense. Because how are you as an Indian woman, which is a person of color, going to call a black person the hard R? It would have to be because you think that you're YT.
I don't know why Indians treat black people so bad. I don't know. I don't think in any way they are superior than black people, but they see themselves as superior. Is it because of their color that they see they are almost white? Because whiteness is associated with superiority, with white supremacy, and they want to be like white people. But one thing they forget, the same white people are the people who oppressed them. Instead of joining the oppressed groups, like to be together, they're joining the enemy just to make them happy, just to oppress a black community. This is something that has been happening for a very long time. For instance, even if you come here in Africa, most Indians have overtaken businesses, working areas, and they employ black people. Most Indians have black people as their employees, but the way they treat these black people, if you attend a shop that is owned by an Indian and you find that it has black people employees, you can even see the fear in their eyes. Even the way they attend to you, there is always fear. It is always like someone somewhere is watching them. Someone somewhere wants something from them. It is not the same way when you walk to a shop owned by a black person and the employees are black people. It is not the same. Indians are always shouting to black people. They're just like, you need to be doing something. You need to be fast. You don't need to be idle. I don't know. I don't think that is how businesses should be run. Yes, I know you are an owner of the business, but really, do you have to keep on shouting to your employees just because they are black? Will you do the same to your Indians? Will you do the same thing to your fellow Indians? What is it about black people that they hate so much? I think Indians' racism towards black people is something that started way back, because even if we go through history, we find that Mahatma Gandhi himself was a racist. He was racist towards black people. His activism initially focused only on the rights of Indians under the colonial rule. He used the highly offensive and derogatory term kafir for black Africans and described them in demeaning ways in some writings. At times, he protested Indians being treated on the same level as black South Africans, pushing for separate facilities so Indians would not be grouped with blacks. You see, this is not something that started now. It started way back, and I think that's how Indians just continued with the same, like they are just comfortable being racist towards black people. He implied that Indians were more civilized than black Africans, reflecting racist hierarchies common among many colonized people at the time. His views about Africans in his youth were prejudiced and mirrored the racial hierarchy of that era. One thing that is making me wonder is that Indians, they better make white people happy. The same white people who colonized them, who oppressed them, but they rather make white people happy and oppress black people and act racist towards black people. I don't know. Is it because they are just light in color? But we also have Indians who are dark in color. Also, colorism is another issue among Indians. So it's not only racism, but also colorism, because you'll find that dark Indians are put down on the hierarchy. We have the lighter ones on top and then dark Indians on the bottom. I don't know. What is it about racism towards black people? What do they gain from it? You would find that families, Indian families or Indian ladies who are married to a black man, or an Indian man who is married to a black woman, it will not be easy. Even the introduction, just introducing your black family or your black partner to that family is something so difficult. As one of the ladies has said, she has given her experience that she was married to a black man and it was so hard to introduce the man to her family and for them accepting black people. So imagine being in a family, in an Indian family, and you have black children because you are married by a black man. Even those children will never feel safe. They will never be proud of themselves because of the racism from their own people. You imagine receiving racism from your own family just because you are from a black race, like you are darker, and they associate blackness with a lot of bad things. This is something that needs to stop. First of all, you Indians, you flee away from your homes. India, you come to these other countries, you come to African countries and you try to dominate. You come, start businesses. At the same time, you need black people's help. You need black employees to run your businesses, but you treat them very bad. Any single mistake, someone is fired. No chance for explanation, no chance for negotiation or anything. Why treat your fellow human being as if he doesn't have blood like you, he doesn't have a brain like you? Like, we are all new to this earth, we are all humans, and above all, God is the greatest. We are under him, we are equal, and they always say in the Bible, we are in his image and likeness. So when you see your fellow human being, whether white, whether black, whether of color, or whether even blue, you should look past color, you should look past race and treat that human being as you would love to be treated. I don't think for them they will take racism lightly. I don't think so. And they say that black people are also racist. So are you being racist because black people are being racist, or you have a reason as to why you're being racist to that community, to that group? Indians need to understand that no matter what they do, they will never appease or they'll never make white people to be happy with them. They'll never reach to that level that white people have placed themselves. And what white people see, they just see Indians as black people, as any other race. So when it comes to white people oppressing other communities, they don't divide, they don't choose which community is better than the other. So with that in mind, they should learn that, you know what, as much as we want to be like these people, they are oppressors, they are colonizers, they are not good people, and they are racist towards any other community that is not them. So there is no point in oppressing a black community, in being racist towards a black community, just to make white people happy. In the end, they gain nothing. Actually, they lose more, because now black people are even scared of associating themselves with Indians, you see. It's not easy because of the racism, especially working for them. So you come in another country, dominate, and you want black people's help. It's not going to be easy for you Indians. It's high time you stop the racism towards black people. Treat black people well. Treat them as humans. This is something that we should talk more often about, because I feel like it is not talked that much, but it is happening. It is not something that you're just saying. I have seen it. I haven't experienced, but I have seen how Indians treat black people. They treat them like slaves. They want them to just work for them, nothing else. No, you should have at least humanity in you. When you are dealing with another human being, consider that they are humans like you, and treat them with love, with compassion. That's it, guys. Let me know your thoughts about this video. Let's, as black people, let's know how we can find a solution to this problem. How can we solve Indians' racism towards us, towards black people, and how can Indians themselves stop being racist towards black people? It's not a good thing. It's something they need to stop with. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and I will really appreciate. See you in the next one. Bye.